All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. So a super quick video. I guess I got to talk about this. Tony Ferguson got in an accident last night, which sounds like it was pretty serious, like really serious. And it just brings back into the picture the post-fight career for some guys, where it goes, you know, for some people are Chael, some people are Bisping, you know, Anthony Smith will be the same. You know, there are guys that get out of their career and they're set up, like they have things set up. They end up very successful doing things around the sport or expanding into other things. And most of all, they got their head on straight still somehow, you know. Bisping took a lot of shots, man, you know. Like, it doesn't just come down to like how many times you get punched in the face. Bisping was a brawler. He took a lot of shots, and he's clear-headed, sharp, does exceptionally well, speaks well, you know, has a great family life, but that's not the case for everybody. So, yeah, I'll tell you guys about this Tony Ferguson thing. I'll show you what we know so far, and we will talk about that. And then, obviously, I was literally just sitting down to record my video that I was going to do about the event last night, and definitely watch that, because I have a lot of thoughts about the main event, the co-main event, Kron Gracie, and then also and then definitely a bunch of stuff about the like Merab and O'Malley and that matchup, and anyway, a bunch of stuff. So give that a look later. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to do that, or please do that. And yeah, that way you'll know when I upload, and you'll join the best MMA community in the world. Anyway, so let's go ahead and look at this video, because or no, I'm sorry, not the video, but the what are we talking about? The article. So check this out. So this is what we're looking at. The guy is he's on the ropes, man. Like, he's on the ropes. So UFC fighter Tony Ferguson busted for DUI after truck flips over in Hollywood. UFC fighter Tony Ferguson was no match for cops early Sunday. He was busted for DUI. Tony apparently crashed his pickup truck into two parked cars outside a Hollywood club just before 2 a.m. His truck flipped on its side. Miraculously, he was not injured, nor was anyone else. You can see the picture here, obviously. I'll make it a little bit bigger for you guys. So there you go. It's on his side. He completely totaled two cars. And that Mercedes right there, the one that it looks like it's kind of turned over, the one on the right, the black one, that's some rappers. So law enforcement sources tell TMZ Tony refused to take a field sobriety test and was very uncooperative at the scene. According to shocker, Tony Ferguson was uncooperative. I would have never guessed that based on his public appearances. According to our sources, the cops who eyeballed him say he reeked of alcohol and had bloodshot eyes. Tony was arrested at the scene and is facing misdemeanor DUI. He is also facing license suspension for refusing a field sobriety test. Rapper Cash Gotti, the owner of one of the cars Tony allegedly hit, says he came out to find his Mercedes destroyed. Just another night in Hollywood. So that's the reason why that part's funny is because it's like, hey, you're a rapper, right? Hey, he totaled your car, dude. Do something, you know? Come on, dude. You're a gangster. You guys are gangsters, right? Cash Gotti, you're a gangster, right? So go get him. Go get Tony Ferguson. Hey, man. Look at what you did to my ride. Tony's like, I'm blacked out. I can't see straight. But nonetheless, you could probably tie my right arm to my left ankle, and I would beat the brakes off you 1,000 out of 1,000 times. Yeah. In addition to the fact that the police were obviously there. But nonetheless, that's a fight that nobody wants. Man, I wish, I don't wish this exactly, but only just for my own sick entertainment. I do wish this. I'm not going to pretend I'm not a sicko. I am. I wish that more often, like ex-fighters like Tony, give Tony Ferguson and, get him like 5 years outside of his career. Let some young, like tough club guy, like a club tough guy think, oh, look at that broke down ass old fighter. I wish they would press guys. Like, I wish that people would press those guys more often so you could find out. You're like, oh yeah? Oh yeah. Yeah. He lost his last 5 fights and then he's been out for 5 years. I'll roll this guy up. It's like, yeah, give it a run, dude. Give it a run. Go tell him he was garbage in his face. Flick a cigarette in his face. Spit on him. Or just throw a punch, dude. See what happens. And then you'd start to see, like, they go like, oh, there's levels to this game. It's like, hey, guy that punches people in the club, there is no day where Tony Ferguson will not break your face in a million pieces. Anywho, oh God, can you imagine a person who's not used to getting punched in the face getting punched by Tony Ferguson? His hands are like, he's like built to just break things and just like shatter things. Anywho, I don't know why I just went off like that, but the more important thing is that, like I said, post-fight career for guys depends on the fighter, depends on their personality, depends on what their demons are, depends on how much head trauma that they took, and it depends on what they have in their life. And this, I feel like when I start talking about these topics, I never really know where this is going to go. Just kind of depends on like what stream of thought I go on. But one thing that Chael and Bisping have that I think is really important is, at least from the outside, without like being in their houses, it seems like those guys have a really healthy family life, right? Like, to me, Bisping has his wife on the stream all the time. And, like their family follows our family on Instagram. And like, so we look at each other's stuff. It's like, it seems like they've got like, a really solid home life with their kids and the family. And Chael obviously has the same thing with his family. And like, I don't know, man, and me having the same thing and being kind of wired for chaos in my brain. I know how important that is. And I just think that is notable, that some of the guys that do well all seem to have that as well. And like, when you hear that like someone has problems, in that area of their life, it seems like that spreads everywhere else. Cause it's like everybody needs like a safe place, like a safe base of, like to like stage your life from. And if that's chaos, if that place, the place that you come home and sleep and where you come home and eat food and where you're responsible for people is chaos, how are you going to have anything else when you go out into the world? You know what I mean? So marry a good girl, okay? Hey, so what, Jesse, yeah, you're saying that a lot of fighters have a really rough go after their career. What suggestion do you have for them? I'm like, don't marry a crazy whore. That's my suggestion. Don't do it, okay? She might look like a dime piece, okay? She might be a hard 10 on the outside. She might be incredibly fun to let, ride your pony. But if she's crazy, do not marry her. Do not have a kid with her. Don't do it. Don't do it. She'll destroy your life. And when I say destroy your life, I mean destroy your life. So that's my advice. But yeah, look, dude. There are some guys where it's like, oh, how do you think they're going to do? And there are some people where you just know exactly what's coming, right? It's easy to look at and predict, where you're like Michael Chandler. How do you think he's going to do post-fight? He's going to do awesome, obviously. He's going to be a motivational speaker. He's going to have some kind of institute. Like, obviously, Chandler's going to do really well. And what does he have at home? Same thing, right? So, and then there are other guys where you look and it's like, geez. Of all the active fighters for the last 5 years, if you ask me to kind of like stack rank, like the top 3 guys who I thought were going to do well post-career and the bottom 3 that I thought were going to have a really rough go, 100% top of my list of who's going to have a rough go, Tony Ferguson. And I'm sure you guys have heard me say that on the channel, because I have not wavered on. I've been doing this for 3 years? I started this channel 3 years ago. And, Jesse on Fire started 3 years ago. And I've talked about this a lot, and Tony Ferguson is always the example where I'm like, man, he is going to have a tough go. Because honestly, like, if you remember, the reason why I went to the family thing is because if you remember, the last time Tony was in the news for like police or stuff like that, it was because of his family, right? Like they had said that like they were concerned about his mental health. He was drinking all the time. He's hallucinating and stuff like that. And like, I mean, to me, he strikes me as a dude who is crazy in a way that made him genuinely incredible as an athlete, right? Like, everyone who gets to the peak level to where they're a professional athlete, they're at the top, not they're just a professional, but they're at the top of the professionals. All of those guys have incredible work ethic. That is absolutely mandatory. There are no shortcuts to that. 100% of them have incredible work ethic. Some of them have psychopathic work ethic, right? And I think that Tony Ferguson is one of those guys that has psychopathic work ethic. He's crazy. He can absorb an unimaginable amount of punishment without it affecting him. And he's crazy. And that works really well as a professional fighter. But everybody's body's going to give out. And that crazy, when you take away the thing that he's able to focus the crazy on, not good, right? Like, not good at all. Like, I don't think that there's a good ending to this movie at all for him. And man, I've talked about this a million times, dude. Booze. I am, having experience with understanding what it's like to genuinely have an issue with substance. Like if there's a certain substance that, like, I know what it's like. I know what that cycle's like, where you start and then you're like, oh my God, what the hell have I been doing? And it's a nightmare to get off and all that stuff. Like, I know what that's like to be an addict. But I am so grateful that that's not booze for me, because I know it seems like it's like, he drinks too much. And it seems like it's different than like drugs, right? Like, it seems like different than, this guy has an opioid problem. This person has a blow problem, whatever. It's like alcohol seems like a lesser problem than the other ones. And the only reason for that is just because it's legal, right? And everybody kind of does it socially. But for people who are addicts, I think booze is the worst of all of them. I really do, dude. I genuinely, it's like, just look at the effect that it has on people when they're super wasted and compare that to any other thing, right? Somebody, this person's a heroin addict. It's like, what are they doing? They're like sleeping. Like, oh, okay, cool. It's like, this person's, I mean, pick a thing. It's like, what about booze? It's like, that person is, last night they drove their car, they flipped it, killed 7 people, they got out, they puked on the ground, they walked into somebody's house, they pulled their pants down, and they were like, and then the next day they didn't remember it. You're like there's nothing that can make you do worse stuff than that. It just puts people on autopilot. It just changes their brain chemistry. They just go nuts. But anyway, I don't know, man. I hope he pulls it together, but I'm pretty good at predicting this kind of thing, and I don't think this is going to be a movie that anybody likes watching. So he's all right. He's not hurt, so that's good. Anyway, that's what I got for this video. Stay tuned. I'm about to do my video breaking down the fights from last night, so get on that. Also, peace.